Hi guys, and welcome back to the Early Bird Photo News. Today I watched an interesting video about AI by Tony and Chelsea Northrup, and they were discussing how AI has become so much better and can create some pretty realistic looking images. And that made me think, why not go and have a crack myself and see if I can create some nice looking bird images. So I went over to Midjourney, signed up. That was a little bit of a struggle, but I got there in the end and started to create some images. I spent a few hours in there learning different things, trying to create some images, and here's a few images that I got. Firstly, I tried to recreate one of my most popular images, 5 male Goldian finches on a twisted branch. And here are the image options that Midjourney gave me after a few tries and a few tweaks. It didn't quite get it right. What do you guys think? So I thought maybe it just doesn't have enough information about Goldian finches. Let's try something else. Let's try a head portrait of a Major Mitchell's cockatoo. Here's an image that I had in mind. And then this is the result that Midjourney produced. And I must say, of all the things I've tried, this was probably the most disappointing result because Midjourney didn't even get the species right and everything just didn't look quite right. Considering that a few months ago Midjourney couldn't draw any bird and it looked very strange, this has already been quite a big improvement, but I really wanted it to create something that looks more realistic. So I thought I'll probably have to try something more common like a budgie. I got a few images that looked alright, but they still had that kind of cartoonish feel to them and didn't look photorealistic like what I really wanted to. So I thought, let's try something else. Let's try the hummingbird. And this was the first time it actually created something that I thought, oh yes, with a few tweaks, this could be quite a decent looking image. This is a lot more realistic than all the other birds I've tried. And then lastly, I typed in I want to see a snowy owl as realistic as possible on the ground in the snow. Here's a few options that I got. And this is the image that I think was the most realistic. And I reckon if I posted this image on Instagram, a lot of people would like it and think it was a real photo. When you look closely, it still doesn't look like a real photo, but if you just kind of flick past it, I think it could be mistaken for a real photo. It was definitely the most realistic bird I got today. What do you guys think? Considering that this photo was created by a prompt that I typed into a text field to a bot, it's pretty impressive, isn't it? And since Midjourney seemed to struggle a little bit with birds, I thought, let's try something else, like try a photographer with a lens. So ask it to create a photographer in the forest with a Canon 600mm lens on a tripod. And what did I get? A 6-fingered Nikon shooter. So there's definitely still room for improvement, but overall I had a lot of fun trying around with different things and just think it's an amazing technology overall. I don't think it's going to replace photos just yet, but in a few years' time, I think it will definitely be able to create very realistic looking images. Even though for me, in terms of photos, there's no real point because they're just very soulless. There's no experience, no documentation or anything behind it. It's just a digital creation. I don't think AI can replace real experiences, real photographs with a story behind them, or YouTube's videos just like this where I kind of interact with the audience. But at the same time, a lot of generic content I definitely see in danger of being replaced by AI. So I think going forward, this will definitely devalue the already struggling market for photo sales even further because it will just be easier for people that don't really need a real photo to just create something because it's much cheaper and much faster. What do you guys think about AI? Is it good? Is it bad? Can't we tell just yet? I think for certain applications it will be a great helper, like image editing, for instance, in the future with all these great noise reduction softwares, or if you do composite images, it will be great. But I also think it will persuade people towards shading a little bit more at times. And just for fun, here's some of bald eagles I tried to create, but I miserably failed. And look at the image on the top right, there's some kind of weird UFO eagle in the sky as well. Lately, when I was filming my tests with the Canon R6 Mark II and the R7 and the 800mm lens and the Z9 and the f4 600mm TC lens, I photographed a lot of shorebirds and often close to the ground. And whenever I was photographing close to the ground, it just presents a unique challenge because you can either lie on the ground, get wet and dirty and use the viewfinder and kind of bend your neck in an awkward position, or you can be up higher looking down onto your camera and using the rear screen, trying to direct the camera around, but both of these solutions are not really ideal. And then the other day when I was filming the viewfinder for you guys so you can see what's happening, I kind of found the perfect solution because I was using my Ninja 5 on top of the camera to just film the EVF, and when I held it close to the ground, I could suddenly really easily see my viewfinder on the Ninja 5. The only problem with the Ninja 5 is that it's very heavy, takes big batteries, and it's just too heavy to carry around all day and just not comfortable on top of the camera. So coincidentally, the other day, a company called Portkeys reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to test one of their new screens, the PT6. This is designed for streaming. You can install 3D LUTs on this, so your picture always looks great, and it even has a weird function that if you put it in vertical format and you film yourself, you can stretch out your legs. Don't ask me why you need to do that, but apparently it's something that people want. However, I don't want to use this screen for any of that, but what excited me about it is that it's super lightweight. It basically weighs nothing. It's nice and bright. I can easily attach it to the top of the camera with that little head that comes with it. And what I really liked about it is that you can either use these heavy Sony batteries with it to power it, or it actually works with the Canon batteries that all of us have tons of anyways. That means if I take this screen into the field with me, I never have to take any extra batteries like these heavy ones with me. I just have the Canon batteries that I normally have with me anyways. So all we need to do now is screw in a little head, slide it on top of our camera, grab a HDMI to mini HDMI cord, plug that into our camera, turn both on. This takes a while to turn on. That's probably the only downside I've found with it so far. So that's working pretty good, isn't it? And this is just so much easier now. So when I'm working close to the ground now, this should be so much easier because I can have the screen on top here. I look down, I can easily direct it around. It's nice and bright, easy to look at, and so much better than that little screen on the back or the EVF. I haven't tried it out in the field yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to it because it's so nice and light. The only concern I have with all these screens, whether it's the Ninja or this Portkey PT6, is that they're not weatherproof. So if it's raining or if you get it wet, you might get in trouble, but otherwise I think this can be a great solution whether you're working in a blind or in a swimming hide or just close to the ground for shorebirds or ducks, for instance. A few weeks ago, a client of mine asked me to edit one of his broad-build mod images. The original RAW file was quite dark and the branch is quite thick and very dark at the bottom, so there's definitely some challenges in the file. And first, like always, I ran it through DxO Pure Raw 3 to remove all the noise. And then I opened up the file in Adobe Camera Raw, put one of my presets on it to get the colors right, because with the Adobe profiles, the picture just didn't look right. And then I made a few more tweaks to give me a great starting point for the editing process. The first thing I did on this image was actually to create another RAW file with a different exposure. So I used the same RAW file, but brighten it a lot to get more detail in the very dark area of that branch. And then I used the brush to paint in some details in the very dark area of the branch. From there, I used the clone tool and the patch tool to remove the stick on the leaf at the bottom of the image. And I also didn't like the way the big leaf next to the bird looked. So I used the liquefying tool to make it smaller and then cleaned it up with the clone tool. From there, I selected the background because I wanted to make the background a little bit brighter. And then I also used the same selection inverted to make the bird a little bit darker. From there, I used a few more curves and a level adjustment to highlight and darken certain areas on the bird. And then I used a couple selective color layers to enhance the colors on the bird, like make the head a bit more vibrant and orange and work on the green and the blues in the bird. Lastly, the thing I still didn't like about the image was how straight and chunky that perch was. So I used the liquefying tool again to just give that perch a little bit more shape and to make it a little bit more pleasant overall. At the end, there was still a bunch of noise in the image, so I ran Topaz Denoise AI on it in the low light module, and that gave me a nice and clean file in the end I'm pretty happy with. And if you guys are not quite sure where to start with the editing process and how to get the most out of your images, I would love to help you with my ProSets and Masterclass. My ProSets allow you with just one click to get your images to a great starting point with fantastic colors. And in my Masterclass, I teach you slowly and step by step everything you've just seen in this video and a lot more, like cloning, color correction, and everything you need to know to make your own images look amazing. So if this is of interest to you, make sure to check that out in the description. We often wonder how long manufacturers will actually support the gear that we've bought, because at some point in time, they will actually cut the support for that gear. This is one of the main reasons that they often don't recommend Canon version 1 lenses, especially the 500 and 600mm lenses, to a lot of photographers, because while they're cheap, they're also not supported by Canon anymore. So if something breaks on that lens, there's no spare parts available anymore, and the lens is likely just becoming a very heavy paperweight. So it's actually interesting to know how long Canon will support our lenses, and Canon Rumors recently posted about that, and it's showing how long Canon will support certain cameras. And they actually also linked to Canon Japan website. I've linked down there in the description for you guys, where you can see all the gear over the last few years that Canon will still support. It's all in Japanese, but you can see your gear and you can see the dates next to it. So it should give you a good idea how long Canon will support gear. The most noticeable for me was, for instance, the Canon 5D Mark III, where support will run out in 2024. And interestingly, the Canon 600mm version 2 lens will be supported until 2025, whereas the Canon 500mm version 2 lens will be supported until 2029. I guess Canon never made a version 3 or F version of that lens, so it makes sense to support the EF version longer. So now I'd recommend for you guys to check out some of my other videos, like my R6 Mark II review or my video telling you why using low ISO is a big mistake. And I go back under the computer and edit my Nikon review of the 600mm prime lens, so I can post that very soon. Until then, I hope you guys enjoy your day. I will see you in the next video very soon, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!